Hey everybody, this is Jonathan from Fever Moon, and this is the second Fever Moon weekly newsletter. And shooting here from the Feather River in Gridley, California, and right up that way is the family farm where I work, right up towards the sun. And I came down to the river to shoot this because the topic of this newsletter is symbolism and metaphor. And this sort of exercise that I do that I wanted to talk about of how to look at different things in our lives by comparing them to, well, you'll see when we get there. First, I want to talk about a fan emailed us with a question about the last video. And in the last video, I was talking about it being harvest time, prune harvest, and now prune harvest is just about all done, maybe a day left. And in that video, I was talking about planting seeds. And the question that one of our fans had, and friends, was, is it better to just take the seeds, the metaphorical seeds that were given, and plant them and see what happens, or to kind of choose the seeds and know exactly what we want to plant, and then just do it in that way that I talked about in the last video, in a somewhat unattached way, to just plant seeds without thinking about the result too much. Well, that's a great question, and what it brought up for me was this idea of the seasons of our lives. So in some seasons of our lives, maybe that's the time to just receive whatever the universe wants us to receive. You don't really know exactly what you're going to get. You may not even know what you need. So maybe that's a time to just be aware and receive, and in that comparison to plant whatever the universe gives you. Whatever is left over in your seed packets, let's put it another way. And then there's other seasons of our lives where we know exactly what we want, and we can just make that our emphasis. And what that reminded me of is a metaphor that is used in a certain healing modality that I've worked with a few times. And in this particular metaphor, they show the journey that we're currently on in our lives as being the time on a clock. So from noon till 3 is survival, is just maybe something like there's just a problem, we don't know what to do about it. From 3 o'clock till 6 o'clock is gathering information. Just, going out and seeing what's possible. You don't know yet, you're just gathering information. From 6 o'clock till 9 o'clock, that's the time that a person would be sorting out the information. What's true for them, what works for them of all these things that they've gathered. And then from 9 o'clock till midnight, that's manifestation. So if we're going to go back to the seed metaphor, maybe that 3 o'clock till 6 o'clock is just taking whatever you get, planting. You don't even know what you need yet. You're just planting seeds, just gathering information, just sorting. And then later you sort it out. Well, what is it that I want to grow, and what is it that I don't want to grow? And then in that last segment of the clock, manifestation. You could say that that's harvest. You could say that that's knowing exactly what you want, the seeds that you want to plant. So anyway, I just think that's a really helpful metaphor. And the metaphor that I wanted to talk about here at the river is one that I've been thinking about quite a bit. That very often in my life, when I am maybe struggling with something or trying to understand something, just whatever it is I'm looking at, it helps if it's natural, for me at least. Whatever it is I'm looking at, I just say, how is that like the problem I'm going through? How is so let's say, I'm just going to make something up. Let's say I want to spend more time doing something creative, and that's what I'm calling the problem in my life at this point. So how is this desire to do more creative work like a river? Well, I haven't even thought about this yet, so I'm just going to look at this river and notice that it's moving steadily. It's sort of glassy, It's moving actually quite fast. It's actually quite a fast current, even though it looks still. Okay, so honestly, I can look at my own creativity as being like, it may not look like I'm doing, you know, playing shows and writing 3 songs a day or whatever. But actually, when I really step back and think about it, my river is moving. It may not be really visible, but it's moving. I'm doing things. I'm making videos. Sometimes in our lives, our energy, the river of our energy is crashing over rocks. Sometimes it gets very still and doesn't seem like it's moving. Sometimes it comes as a trickle, and sometimes it roars. Some people say that the masculine and feminine energies, the yin and the yang, are kind of like the feminine being water and the masculine being like the shore, the rocks, the unmoving energy that gives shape and form to the yin energy, the feminine energy. Sometimes there's obstacles in our lives, and sometimes with great effort we can move them like logs going downstream. Sometimes it's just better to go around them. So anyway, metaphors, just using metaphors. How is my life, how's the thing that I'm doing in my life right now like a tree? How is this good feeling that I have today, if you have one, maybe you do, how is it like the setting sun? How is it like the rising sun? How is it like, the steering wheel of your car? How is it like your bed at home? How is friendship like the front door of your house? Just, you can make this stuff up and just, you ask those questions, maybe take a breath, and just wait for some creative idea to come to you, just some idea in that stillness. It may take a little practice, but just as I did with the river just a moment ago, not really even knowing what I was going to say, oftentimes we learn something really cool just by asking ourselves a metaphor and seeing what we come up with. So anyway, I hope that helps. If you have any questions and comments, anything like that, I'd like to spend a little time each week answering questions and then going into the video. So I hope you all have a great week and take care.